Well, hello, fellow constitutionalists. I'm Dan Clements, your constitutional warrior. And in this video, I want to talk to you about Jon Ossoff, one of the contenders for the Senate seat in Georgia. NowThis News, very left-leaning propagandist news outlet, one of the worst ones on Facebook. And this sort of speaks to Facebook fact checkers, but I digress. He was talking about, in this video clip I have from Fox News, hat tip, about how Kelly Loeffler is campaigning with white supremacists, therefore she is a white supremacist. Now, I was on last night. I saw this on Facebook last night. They also have a YouTube channel, which has the whole video on it too. I'll put the link to that in the description below the video. But I was watching this, or I was reading this and watching this last night on my laptop in my recliner. And when I came across this, and I just couldn't believe what I saw. Now, I was a little tired when I saw it, so I didn't do a lot of research. I made a few comments about it, and then I thought I'll sleep on it and come back to it this morning. And I'm going to have you watch the video first, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it. And there was a pretty good takedown I did this morning on, and you know, a couple points I made about the video. And I pretty much, it's crickets. After I did this, I was getting comments galore. And when I posted this takedown this morning, it died. I mean, it literally died. I just couldn't believe it. And I didn't do it to cause no debate or no discussion, but boy, they sure scurried back in their holes, these propagandists. They really did. Here's the video real quick.
We are live on Fox right now.
Here's the bottom line. Kelly Loeffler has been campaigning with a Klansman. Kelly Loeffler has been campaigning with a Klansman. And so she is stooping to these vicious personal attacks to distract from the fact that she's been campaigning with a former member of the Ku Klux Klan. Here's the bottom line. Kelly Loeffler has been campaigning with a Klansman. Kelly Loeffler has been campaigning with a Klansman. And so she is stooping to these vicious personal attacks to distract from the fact that she's been campaigning with a former member of the Ku Klux Klan.
All right, folks, that was the short video there of Jon Ossoff. I think someone said he turned it into a campaign video, which is probably playing really good to his base. However, it is full of lies and propaganda like you wouldn't believe. Now, that's nothing new with politicians and their campaigns and stuff like that. But I just wanted to point this out, okay? I made 2 points this morning. Once I slept on it last night, and once I woke up this morning and did some research on it, there was 2 points I shared with all the readers of this on their NowThis, and also it came across my news feed and I commented it there. There's 2 main points that I pointed out here. One, they were selfies. And I'm not even going to name the names of the folks that took the selfies, because I don't want to name these white supremacists on there unless I'm actually talking about them. And these folks, these white supremacists that took these selfies, were the ones that also uploaded them to the internet. Okay. So the Loeffler campaign wasn't aware who they were, and the folks that took the selfies were the ones that uploaded them, wasn't the Loeffler campaign. And so I put this in a message to folks and told them that, hey, this is your, pretty much this is what I said. This is, not pretty much, this is exactly what I said. All you need to do, or you all need to do more research before you go off all I can't read today, half cocked. The photos your comrades with Loeffler were selfies that were then uploaded by your comrades. I don't know a single politician or a famous person who vets people who wants a selfie. If these were official campaign photos, you would have a point, but they are not. And like I said, crickets, boom. I didn't mean to say that to stop any discussion, but they sort of scurried off back to their holes and didn't want to say anymore. And this is the case a lot with leftists and progressives, folks, that once you show them the truth, then they're gone. But a lot of times the damage is already done, and it's kind of hard to undo the damage or put the genie back into the box. Now, in that video clip, the last person they talked about was Jack Posobiec of One American News Network. And they called him anti-Semitic and a conspiracy theorist. And this is another tactic of the left, especially the far left, the progressive left in this country, is they won't, and they do it to me all the time, they won't attack the idea that's being put forth or the statements that are being put forth. They just attack you. I get it all the time. I get these people that just, I don't let it bother me. I skim over them and I'm thinking, well, that's just, low-minded, low-information person, and just go on about it. That's how I deal with it. Maybe I shouldn't, but that's just how I deal with it because they don't know me. And the fact that they're just attacking me and not the statements that are being either made by me or shared by me that are made by somebody else is very telling. It tells me they really don't have a clue what they're doing. They really don't have a clue of what's going on. So, and Jack Posobiec, I've been following him for years on One American News Network. I've watched his specials. I think the first one I remember him doing was the gas attacks over in Syria, I believe it was. And he's the one that really blew the whistle on how fake that was. And I don't think the left has liked him ever since at all. But for them to include him in that list, I think was ridiculous, and I also think it was very telling. Now, the other point I want to make about these selfies is they were not official photo ops. And in my statement, I talked about that. I don't know a single politician or a famous person who doesn't vet. Let me reread that. I don't know a single politician or famous person who vets people who want a selfie. If these were campaign photos, you'd have a point, but no. And I don't know any politician that doesn't vet photo ops, doesn't know who they're taking a photo with, okay? Because they're the optics of it. And so for Jon Ossoff to run off half-cocked about these, saying, these are white supremacists, they're part of her campaign, she's campaigning with them, she's a white supremacist. It's totally unfounded. Matter of fact, to me, that is slander. It's not borderline slander. That is absolute slander. All right? And let me make a point, one last point. I know some people are going to get mad at this point that I'm making and probably say, Dan, you really didn't need to make this point, but I'm going to make it anyway. All these white supremacists, all these Antifa, and all these BLM, but let's deal with just the white supremacists, are more aligned with the actual liberal of today and the Democrat values that they espouse than they do with conservative values. Or they try to paint them as alt-right or right-leaning, so therefore they're on the right. The first guy, Doyle, was in the KKK. And if anybody knows your history, you know the KKK was started by the Democrat Party and continued right up until this day as being part of their militant arm of the Democrat Party. Okay, the Democrats can't outrun their racist past. They tried to in the early 1970s with Nixon. They talked about the the Dixiecrats and the Southern strategy, and that was debunked as soon as it came out. But yet there's young people today that have read that somewhere, and they cling to it as the gospel truth. When I lived through that. I was very young, but I still remember that. And I remember in school talking about that, how that didn't really take place. But today with the Department of Education, our children aren't getting a good grounding in civics and history. So it's no wonder that they think that. So these white supremacists actually have more in common with the DNC than they do anybody else. And it's funny to me how these guys like Jon Ossoff, these Democrats, try to push them away from them and push them onto another political party or political ideology, when white supremacists have nothing in common with conservatism. I dare say they have nothing in common with Republicans, even though I'm not one. I'm a member of the Constitution Party. But I dare say they don't even have anything in common with the Republican Party. Again, they're more aligned in their values with the DNC. So it amazes me how these people get away with it, and then they have so many sycophants that just swallow it hook, line, and sinker, and then go off half-cocked with their little theories and stuff like that, and just keep regurgitating the propaganda. Just regurgitating. Well, folks, this has been Dan Clements, your constitutional warrior. I'll see you next time on the next video. Have a good evening.